Thank you, Tom. And I'd like to also, if you can please put Chuck's comments in the minutes for the official record.
And the fact that Marla seconded it. Echoed it, I should say.
Now, when will this take effect?
Have we voted?
Not yet.
Nope.
Any questions? Yes.
Was there a significant cost difference between your top two candidates?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there were, I mean, for example, there was one firm that was just, we thought was way too expensive, that we just, it was just out of our budget. But the ones we looked at were very similar.
Yes, sir.
Ernie Schmidt, does this take effect the beginning of the new year
No, this will take effect immediately.
immediately?
No, we have not taken a vote on that, on when the effective date would be. This is just a motion to select a new one, there's no date. I think we either amend our motion or we make a secondary motion to reflect a date.
I have a question.
Linda?
Linda Jansen, Simmons Road. I have a quick question. I think Marla had said it, one of the criteria was a full-service firm. It seems like, and I guess my question is, Wolf Baldwin, are they versed in labor relations? Because after reviewing the budgets for the last couple years, it seemed like Mr. Keenan's rates were well in line, but with all the personnel issues you had, you reached out to Sierra Belvoir. Any labor relation issues? So when you look back, they got a big chunk of the legal expenses, even more so than Mr. Keenan. And I'd also like the board to consider before making, I guess because you haven't voted yet, the history and the expertise, you know, the knowledge that Mr. Keenan and his firm possesses. You're not going to get that from a new firm. So that should also be taken into consideration when you make your decision, because, the resource that and the knowledge is, I think, beneficial to the township. But again, I guess the question is, will Wolf Baldwin be able to handle the labor relations that ate up so much of our legal budgets in the last couple of years?
I can speak to that. I brought all my notes.
Oh, good.
And we did ask that question specifically, and the attorney does have experience in personnel and employment law, and he specifically has experience with police, which is included in some of the personnel stuff that we do. So the answer is yes.
So you will no longer have to, hire Sierra
That was part of the goal.
Belvoir,
And they were not
because
cheap.
they were not cheap, and it just seemed like a lot of money was spent there, and since there were a lot of personnel issues that happened.
We are in agreement.
Okay, so they do
Yes.
have experience. Thank you.
Gail Gosser, Gerloff Road. On the law firms that you have considered here, can you cite a few of the townships that each one of them, what townships they represent?
Okay, I'm only gonna speak to the one that we're talking about. We're not gonna
That's fine.
litigate, no pun intended. Let's do the top one.
It's all right.
Okay, I know I got them all. Okay, here we go.
He's my number supervisor, and he's also.
Okay, so the firm that we're talking about, they serve Pottstown Borough, Pennsburg Borough, Limerick Township, Phoenixville, Upper Pottsgrove, and Lower Pottsgrove.
Thank you.
Dan?
Dan or Kratz Road, just a question on your methodology used. I mean, when I was in the corporate world, we had to hire people, we had to follow a rigid methodology, weight back, identify the key factors we're trying to ensure are present, and then weight things and then come up with a result. I mean, did you use a methodology that you could cite so that in the event that somebody's disgruntled? I mean, one of the reasons you do a standardized methodology is so that if somebody thinks you haven't done it in a fair and equitable fashion, you can go to your notes and show that you followed the process. So that's the question. Was there a defined process and how was it followed,
Yes, we generated a list of questions which covered all areas of
Okay.
law relevant to our township. There were 8 questions. Each firm was asked the same questions. We took notes, and per our Sunshine Act, as you can see, we did not, as we looked at each other, we did not discuss it in advance, as we are not allowed to by law.
Thanks.
So,
No, that's fine.
it's
I
kind of the
just
same
wanted-
approach we took towards the supervisors, except we are not required, and we should not do it in public as it is personnel.
Terry?
Yeah, one of the things I think you mentioned was, you looked at their, representing or conflict of interest with developers. And does this particular law firm?
That was all looked at too for
Okay.
everyone.
So this particular one doesn't have conflicts?
That's correct.
Okay. And do we have a representative from the law firm, like a primary contact?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Tom done a great job here. I really was against it to change, but it would have happened sooner or later, so.
Another quick question, Linda Jansen, Simmons Road, isn't Charles Garber a supervisor in New Hanover Township?
Yes.
I thought so, thank you.
He will not be our primary, but personally I view that as a benefit, since sees it from both ends, and that's my opinion.
And I agree with you, Linda, that Tom has a lot of knowledge here in this township.
That's
Yeah.
almost invaluable, you know? It's, very sad to see him in a different capacity.
Do you
Oh.
want to make your motion for the date?
Wait, we haven't voted yet.
I know, I'm asking,
You wanna make
if
it
we
2
want
or
to
1?
amend the motion to reflect a date.
We can.
I think that would be wise.
You wanna make a motion?
Well, it's your motion. I
Okay, I'll
second
make
it.
a motion that Tom finishes out the year along with, bringing on Wolf Baldwin Associates.
Second.
So they'll start at the organizational meeting.
That's correct.
When is that? January, it's late this year, January.
First Monday in January.
First Monday in January.
Second, third,
First Monday in January.
And that's only ethical to do that.
I agree.
Pardon me, what did you say?
That's only ethical to do that.
Okay.
First Monday in January is the 7th.
Brian Hill, Lemons and Grove. Will the Keenan practice finish out projects that they're currently working on, or will they be transitioned into the new law firm?
Possibly both. It depends on where we are.
Well, I don't know, I often think, we are gonna have to reach out to the Keenan Law Firm. I mean, look at Carol, for example. We're constantly going back, or there's at least you're paying her while Walters for things that were done when you were under their employ. Well, why are we cutting checks to her while or Walters then?
I'm sorry, is this on the same topic as?
Well, Brian asked the question.
Oh, I know why, on the sewer collection system,
Some surveying work.
the legal
And
descriptions and easements for that were prepared by Orwell and Walter, that's the only thing. That's the only thing we've cut checks to.
No, you've also done it for the, Jose Freehas, when you were looking over Burger Lane. There was also when you were doing the lot lines.
It's a bit off topic.
But I'm saying, in other words, I still see that there would be a
You are
reason
correct. Good
that we would
relationships
have
are
to utilize the Keenan Law Firm in some instances. You
Thanks,
know.
Linda, but we'll be doing our best to turn it over to.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need any more questions about the vote?
I don't know, we cut checks for Wells and Walsh or something.
Okay,
We vote?
yes. Everybody okay with it now? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anything else under new business? Okay, public comment.
Yeah, I would like to bring to the board's attention that a piece of campaign literature was circulated around Lower Frederick Township, I believe this week. Just want to let you know that the issue has been brought to the attention of the Office of the District Attorney of Montgomery County, the Board of Elections in Montgomery County, and the Commissioners. So they are aware of what, they have copies of the card, and they're aware of the issue.
What's the issue?
A card was sent around that was purported to be paid for by concerned citizens of Lower Frederick. A name that does not associate itself with any PAC that we
Like,
know
you need to
of.
describe what was on it.
It was just a campaign letter, a card, with advocating for support for political candidates, and also recommending a vote on the referendum that we're having on the election. But all campaign literature has to comply with Commonwealth of Pennsylvania law regarding campaign finance. The card, by its appearances, would be a violation of campaign finance law. And that would affect, and possibly affect, the candidates listed on it as an unpaid or an in-kind contribution. I'm not taking a legal position. I'm just saying it's been brought to the attention of Norristown.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would like to just make a, Gail Gossett Gerloff wrote a comment about that. I received it, and I received political literature from both parties, and usually the cards that I receive have contact information on them, or some way that you can get to the source of where that information has come from. And this particular card, and I looked it up, the Concerned Citizens of Lower Frederick, on the internet, and couldn't find any source whatsoever. There was no return address on it. It was kind of creepy to get that kind of literature. I mean, in this day and age, I would think that someone that has a passion about those issues would be willing to put a little bit more behind it rather than just send it out anonymous. And it gave me the creeps. It really did. I mean, and I've gotten literature from different parties, and I know where it's come from, and I know who I can contact
And you know
about
who
it.
paid for it.
And that too. So I was bothered by it. It bothered me. And so I went to the post office and asked them about it, and it was, they gave me a story about, where the stamps came from and whatnot, but I don't think they felt comfortable in divulging the source of it, or were they sure of the source. But, in this day and age with strange stuff happening through the mail, I would like to know where the sources are. And it was a postcard. The content wasn't strange. No, but there was no return address. There was no website to contact. There was no telephone number. There was no signature on it. It was anonymous. And that's
Other than the mention at the bottom that it was
and
distributed
if you
by-
look that up, there's
And they don't exist.
They don't exist. It
But
was weird. It was creepy.
But one can glean from the fact that there was 100% consistency in the party of all the candidates,
Well, yeah,
where
and,
it came from.
yeah, well, we don't know who it came from.
Well,
I don't know if it
Yeah,
came
yeah,
from
yeah.
them. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah, I don't
idea.
know
I know
where
what
it
they're,
came from.
they're supporting, that I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get it from other places too. But it was
Yeah,
just,
'cause I
it was
tried to
kind
run it down too. And
of, it was kind of weird. It was weird. You know, I mean, what's the next thing we're gonna get, you know, pipe bombs in the mail, we also get, you know?
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
But it was strange, it was strange.
Bob,
Yeah, as far as the traffic calming committee, we've brought up to you several times before. Do you have something for the committee to look at? I know in the last two meetings, you kept pushing it off.
we didn't discuss nothing yet, as of right now.
No, I mean, we've been dealing
We
with
did
it.
not bring nothing up,
We've been
so
dealing with these two issues which are both pretty important, the
Yeah.
Goshen Road and the speed hump, so.
we'll work on something here as soon as we get squared away with the speed bumps.
I just don't wanna lose the people on the committee and, actually, Kevin, do you have the resignation from, Ron Kerwood or not?
I do, yes.
Okay, so Ron Kerwood did resign.
Oh, did
You didn't get it, yeah. There was nowhere around reason to it. It's nowhere.
Dan?
It was weird.
Dana Blakey, 231 Goshen Road. I just wanted to share a letter with the township supervisors that there's some individuals from our community at Cedar Hill that wanted to just ask the supervisors that we consider installing a sidewalk from the corner of Goshen Road and Grimley Road towards Zieglersville Road. So it's going up that hill. I had mentioned it at the last meeting. And I just wanted to distribute a sampling of some of the residents, especially from the bus stop at Goshen and Grimley. And just speaking of the township coming off topic, the next letter that I want to propose to them is a four-way stop at that intersection that the traffic calming committee would consider. But going back to topic on this
So
one.
what is currently there?
So currently there is a two-way stop.
Okay.
And it's only on Goshen Road. So the throughway coming down, so, sorry, that was my next topic, but this letter and this petition is addressing the sidewalk. So it is a very busy intersection, as other individuals has commented in the past, that we have issues with traffic, we have issues with people speeding through the neighborhood. My son and now my two twin daughters, who are 5 years old, go to that bus stop. If you go to the first day of school, I mean, you'll see how many children are at that bus stop. And my major concern, along with other individuals that I have signed this petition, is that the children that live on Goshen Road, going towards Zieglersville Road, are forced to walk from those townhomes down that hill all year round, all kinds of weather, with absolutely no sidewalk available to them. So they are walking on the roadway, and these are elementary school children that are coming down to that bus stop. So in a prior discussion with the township engineer, I was informed that they had previously drafted a plan to install a sidewalk. And what we're just asking is that the township considers revisiting that plan and looking at installing that sidewalk for the safety of our children, not only for the bus stop, but also as we are approaching this week, we have Halloween. So we would like the full use of our community and to be able to walk up and down that hill without having to worry about being struck by one of the individuals that are traveling at a high rate of speed down Goshen, along with not having to worry about that as the children travel to that bus stop every single day, to be able to have the safety and security of being able to utilize a sidewalk.
So how long would the sidewalk be?
So there is a segment of the roadway there that is township land, that is my understanding. And we're just asking that it comes down from the existing sidewalk and area that is on Goshen to the corner of Goshen and Grimley. I don't have the exact measurements of
Carol.
that location.
It states that you had looked at this, drafted plans.
Well, not formal design plans, but it's correct that it was looked at previously. When the first time the Montgomery County grant program came out, and we were looking at trails and walkways. We looked at a walkway along Grimley, and we also looked at a walkway from Grimley and Goshen going up exactly where it's being described. And I guess we also, in that application, we're talking about a connection between Mary Jane and Marion and the townhome community. So all that was wrapped into a nutshell in talking about the first grant application in Montgomery County. And we had two problems with that. One, the Cedar Hill community is at one end of Grimley, and the Springmount Townhomes is at the other end of Grimley. And the Springmount Homeowners Association represented that they did not want a sidewalk installed on Grimley.
And we are not asking for going from Grimley, down Grimley, from Goshen.
Right.
We are just asking to stay on Goshen and going up that hill towards Zieglersville Road from the intersection of Goshen and Grimley. So,
we had done sketches of that, we didn't do a formal plan,
That's
but we
where the
did do
basin is?
sketches.
Where the
You
basin
could
is.
either do it on the
Yeah,
basin
that's
side
my
or the other side, you have plenty of right of way there. And my recollection is when we sketched it, we actually had it on the side opposite the basin, because there was some sidewalk to connect to up there that was viable.
So you have an existing sketch of that?
It was a sketch.
proposal?
Somewhere I did, a few years, I can dig around for that.
I'm just gonna echo Dana's thoughts. Again, I live on Goshen Road. I see the parents walking their kids every day, and they are walking in the street to and from. And I think sidewalks are would be very important in that specific area. I can tell you right now, every single day, I see people drive by my house driving like this, and it's sickening and it's wrong. And God forbid they're texting, and there's a kid that pulls away from the parent. So I think it's something that we should be looking at. I appreciate Dana coming out here and expressing the thoughts of the other residents of the community, and hopefully we can get Carol to give us a little bit more information on how we might be able to accomplish this.
Yeah, I'm looking right now for a dimension, if we stay on the
It's
basin
about 800
side.
feet up over there. 800. I'm pretty sure.
If we stay on the basin side,
Yeah, that's
it's
why.
only
Yes.
about 350.
Plus, it's
But if you go
connected
through
by
the-
all of the
That's-
sidewalks.
The other side must be around 800.
Yeah, and for some reason, we looked at the other side initially, probably because we didn't want kids to walk behind the cars at the first side.
Yeah.
But the other side is less distance and it would be less expense.
If you do it the side of the basin, the homes that are located going up the road on Goshen Road, those kids walk down that road, so it
Yeah.
connects via sidewalk. The next set of townhomes that are up the hill a little bit to the right, if you're going up the hill, those kids are entering a different bus stop. It's a little bit higher.
That's higher up.
Correct, so they're still connected via sidewalk already. So you'd be saving money doing it on the side of the basin because it would be a less distance and everybody's connected.
And the only thing that if you do consider going on the side of the basin, that I would ask that if you would also consider that four-way stop sign at that intersection, so that when they do have to cross that street, at least they are looking at less traffic and more drivers that hopefully are being aware of that intersection.
So if the board wanted to pursue that, the police department has the equipment to determine traffic volumes on each approach, and see if it meets warrants for a multi-way stop sign, that would be the criteria. The threshold for costs.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead with that, but in the meantime, when would you be prepared for us to have a more full discussion of this proposal?
Yeah, I can give